Yeah. Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. Now, I know you've been tuning in, and I thank you so much for being a loyal listener. And I thank you for sharing my message because I know it's reaching millions of people. But I'd like to reflect that in the subscription. I mean, subscribe, share, it's free. Why not do that so you can help lighten someone else's day? Because if you think about it, Embracing the Fight was really created to help normalize the conversation surrounding physical and mental health issues and concerns. So if you think about it, it's a way of encouraging folks to be able to be their authentic selves and not hide behind something because they feel like they're going to be judged. So this episode is going to be, a little bit different because I was listening to, Fantasia's Lose to Win. And I was sitting there saying, you know what? Maybe sometimes you do have to lose to win, but if you encourage yourself every day, if you affirm yourself daily, if you get in the mirror and you speak positive things to yourself, you are the manifestation of the words that you speak. So as long as you're saying, I'm broke, you're going to be broke. As long as you say I'm fat, you're going to be fat. But if you look at yourself in the mirror and you encourage yourself, tell yourself how beautiful you are, how smart you are, how much weight you've lost, everything, any small victory that you want to celebrate prior to it happening, do it. Do it now. Don't wait. Waiting is where the issue actually comes in. You have to think about it like this. Anywhere in the Bible, they always talk about speaking life. Words have power. So why not speak life into your situation, encourage yourself, and walk towards that encouragement? Because what happens, you'll find there'll be times when, something just comes out of nowhere and it really affects your countenance. It affects how you feel. It affects how you move. It can affect how you look at the folks around you. But at the same time, even in those type situations, when you learn to speak positively and you speak life to yourself, not necessarily to the situation, but to yourself, tell yourself that you're greater, you're better, you're stronger, you're more powerful, you're smarter. All that, you have to continually tell yourself that. Because once you start telling yourself that, eventually you start believing it. And you know what happens when you start believing something? You become the manifestation of your thoughts and your beliefs. So imagine, you've been telling yourself you're going to be rich. And then you start seeing yourself trying different things. Then you notice your bank account is going up. You notice you paying all your bills and everything on time. You start seeing a little interest over here, a little interest over there. Opportunity comes up here, opportunity comes up there. You get a raise at work. All that stuff happens because you learn how to speak positively about your situation. Follow me. I had to learn that because for a while, I had been saying, I can't find nobody trying to find me. I ain't dating. I'm not this, I'm not that. And it's like, you know what? I need to stop saying that because if I keep saying that, that's exactly what I'm going to get. So try it for myself. Been seeing more positive things about the dating scene, about meeting the right person, about being able to speak the things that I'm looking for, in a mate. And it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with whether you got kids or not, whether you drink, whether you smoke, whether you do any of these things. It's more of knowing what it is that you really need rather than going along with the societal norm. So when I say that, I mean, people expect you to be married by 25. And if you're not married by 25, it's a little sketchy, on from there. But if you don't speak that to yourself, then it doesn't apply to you. You're walking a different path. There is something out there that has caused you to use the younger portion of your years to focus on something else. Whether you followed your purpose or whether you've just been going from corner to corner trying to make ends meet, trying to make things make sense, you've still been spending that time to cultivate yourself. So why not celebrate, who you are or who you've become? Because the more you celebrate yourself, the more you celebrate the good things in your life, that's the kind of energy that's going to come to you. But as long as you have this pity party about what's happened to you in the past, and I'm not saying that, you had some horrible things happen to you that should never have happened to you. I'm not saying you can't cry about those things. I'm not saying you can't feel a little depression every now and again about those things. But you have to get to a point where you decide not to be a victim anymore, not to suffer anymore. Because if you think about it, those folks who've done whatever they've done to you, they're either serving time or they're not paying any attention to you anymore. You're an afterthought. So if it's not affecting their life, why are you letting it affect yours? You have to move on. I'm not, trying to be harsh. I'm not trying to be mean or negative or anything like that. What I'm saying is, you are a beautiful person, regardless of the circumstances that you've been through, regardless of the things that happened to you in your life. Just because something happened to you doesn't mean that that's who you are. The things that we go through are the things that help build our character. They help to strengthen us. The things that come into our life, it comes to us because it's making us stronger for the next thing that's coming. Think about it like this. If you couldn't lift more than 10 pounds, you wouldn't go into a bodybuilding, competition, instantly, right? You have to go through training, whether it's weeks, months, days, years, whatever. You have to go through a process to go from not having enough strength to having a whole lot of strength to where you can compete against others on an elite level. So all I'm saying is, when you go through things in your life, that's you building your strength. That's you coming into yourself. That's you learning, building, growing. All failures that you go through are just those little bitty steps to success. The thing is, you cannot give up. You have to speak life to yourself. You can't look at yourself just because, say you didn't lose the 10 pounds you thought you were going to lose. That ain't no reason to go to the kitchen, sit down and eat a half a gallon of ice cream because you're sad. I mean, it happens to the best of us. But at the same time, you can't fall off that wagon and stay off of it. You got to get back on it and try again. Sometimes when we fail, we tend to look down on ourselves so much harder than people on the outside do. So we got to learn to give ourselves some grace. We got to learn to forgive ourselves for our mistakes, because I know there's nothing, perfect about me. I know I've made mistakes. I know there are several times that I've had to say that I'm sorry. But in all of that, I learned more. It shaped my character. It shaped who I am today. Do I regret being wrong or doing wrong things? Some things, maybe. But for the most part, no. Because it helped me be the person that I am today. Imagine if you never went through anything, what your life would be like. And when I say nothing at all, I mean you woke up and everything just fell in your lap. Every good thing fell in your lap. And you haven't had any adversity in your life at all. I can't say that I know anyone like that. And because there aren't people walking around like that, I'm saying each person has been through something, or they're the villain in someone's story. So a lot of folks don't want to talk about that. A lot of people don't want to think about, oh, I did someone wrong and now I'm in the back of their mind, causing them all this heartache and all this pain. I got victims, in my past. People don't want to talk about that. They only want to talk about how they were victimized and how things hurt them. But you have to think about it. You haven't been perfect all your life. There are things that you do or have done that you may not be proud of. Whatever that is, that still made you who you are. How do you correct it? Start with those daily affirmations. Make yourself become a better person by what you say and what you do. And if you've done something so egregious to someone that you can't get it off your mind, go to that person. Ask for forgiveness. Be sincere when you say that you're sorry. And see what it is you can do to help make that memory not so bad. That is, I'm talking about if it's eating you up and it's paralyzing you to move forward. Because most folks, heck, they probably forgot, you did anything to them. For instance, I had somebody come back to me after borrowing money, maybe it was like 10 years. He came to me, gave me the money, was like, I borrowed this, years ago, and I thought about it, and I'm so sorry. I'm a man, I should have paid this. And I'm sitting there looking at him like, what you borrow for? When did you borrow it? And he still was like, whatever, you might not remember, but it meant a lot to me. And I felt like less of a person because I wasn't giving you your money back that I promised to repay you. Sometimes people's conscience and their memory will eat at them so much that the thing that they did to you, whether it's even come to your remembrance or not, it'll make them come to you and say, I'm sorry, let me correct that. So if there are people out there that'll do that, why can't you be the same person that goes out and does the same if you have wronged someone? So it makes no sense, to encourage yourself when you're doing dirt every day, or you harming someone else every day, or if you're trying to make things difficult for someone. You should be a light so that when your light shines before men, you'll bring them closer to God. Let your life be an example. Don't have folks saying, you know what, she says she a Christian, but if Christians like that, I don't want to be a part of that. Or if, man, he say he a Christian, I ain't never going to church. I don't want to know about that. That can't possibly be good. Don't be that person. Be a light. Be positive. Because, if you think about the world and the way things are going, I rarely watch TV. I rarely watch the news. I look at some of the tickers that come up when, I'm doing a Google search or something like that, or if I'm building a spreadsheet at work, because if our spreadsheets are on SharePoint and that causes us to have to open the internet. And when you do, how those little blocks come up and it has different things that are going on in the world. It's like, I can't even get past some of them because they break my heart because they're so evil and they're so mean. They're so callous. It's like, how in the world do people actually do these things? It's some stuff that I see that's absolutely unthinkable. But then you know what? It has to be some evil in the world, right? To balance out that good. So why not overcome the evil, the negative thoughts that you have with good? That way, when you go into the world, you sprinkle your good into the world. And every time you sprinkle a little good, you know how they say, pay it forward, pass it on. Goodness, love, joy, pass those things on. Not the gossip that you heard about a person. Not about the horrible thing that you saw in the news. Just call somebody up that you haven't talked to in years. Just let them know, hey, I was thinking about you, because you don't know what that one phone call might do for that person's life. Some people are lonely. Some people are hurting and they have no one to turn to. And sure, it may be because of all the things that they've done in their life. Or they may just have, slipped away and isolated themselves because of the type of career they chose. Whatever the case may be, no one deserves to be, alone. Not in that sense. Of course, you could think about the folks who've done heinous things, say to children. Of course, you're like, oh, those people should be alone. But even in that sense, something triggered that person to do that. So if you could catch a person right before, they committed a crime and just said, how's your day? Don't you think that could change the trajectory of their day? Don't you think they might change their mind? Or you might say, I'm being just a little bit too positive. But I believe that as long as you continually positively speak life, then the result is life. That's why I've been speaking life into my situation now. When it comes to, I should say, decluttering my life. When I go around my house, I find things in my home. I found a Walter P. Jones elementary school t-shirt. And I'm like, I was in elementary school in the 80s. In the 80s. And I still got this t-shirt. So it's like you're holding on to this stuff for a reason. It's like, why are you holding on to it? And the more I thought about it, it was because of all the positive things that I remember about those times in my life, for those things that I'm holding on to. But I've come to the realization that you don't have to hold on to things that you can touch in order for it to remind you, of the good things of the past. Sure, you can have your family heirlooms that you want to pass down. I'm just talking about general clutter. Like if you find a tennis shoe from the 80s, it's like, wait a minute, is this worth something? Or is this just taking up space in my home? When I say declutter, I mean people and experiences are much more important than the tangible things that you actually bring back. Sure, you might look at it and think about a person, but when's the last time you opened one of those boxes from 20 years ago to look at it to see what's actually in the box? It's just taking up space in your attic, or it's just taking up space in your garage. Either way, there's something in that box that could potentially help someone else. So I'm committing time this week and next week to declutter my home. So there's lots of things that I will be giving to the Goodwill. And there are some things that I'll be giving to friends and family members. No, I'm not trying to make them fill their homes up. And no, I'm not a hoarder. I could walk around my house right now and show you that my house is neat and organized. I just have a lot of stuff. And I don't want to have a lot of stuff anymore. I want to be able to let the light in me shine because of me and not because of what I have or what people think I have or what people think I can give or do for them. Just let my presence be enough. Just let the joy that I bring into a room when I come in be enough. Don't you want to be the same way? I want you to be the same way. Because like I said, every time one of us comes in a room with this positive energy and we sprinkling it everywhere, after a while, we're going to have enough dust in there to where we just going to make a whole ruckus if you have that type of positive energy. That's if. And the only way to start doing that is if you start talking to yourself better. I know that we're our own worst critic, but stop it. You don't have to be. You could be your greatest cheerleader. Who said you got to be your worst critic? Nobody ever said that had to be it, but you know what? People don't want to appear arrogant. They don't want to look like they got a huge ego or anything like that. They just kind of want to fit in. But you know what? Fitting in will never let your light shine. And honey, if your light is dim, eventually it goes out. So I'm saying today, take that time to, if you need to do like I do, like get rid of some of this stuff, just give it away and help someone else and brighten somebody else's day, and then think about the memories of why you had those things as you're getting rid of those things. I mean, you have no idea what a positive impact that can have on someone. So I can't remember how the parable was stated, and I don't know if it was a parable or fable, but it's basically saying that it's hard to put anything in closed fists. So if your hands are open and you're giving things away, other things can come into your hands, whether it's money, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's a new job, or something that you've really wanted for a really long time. Sometimes those things can't land in your hand because you're holding on to the stuff that's right in front of you that's really not for you. So I encourage you, actually, I implore you to take the time to live your life with open hands. And in that season, speak positively to yourself. Love on yourself. Encourage yourself. Because if you're waiting for somebody else to do it, it may never happen. So take this time, please. Give some things away. Speak positive to yourself. Encourage yourself. Love yourself and watch how things change. Thank you for watching this episode of Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host, and I'm trying to let my light shine. So please share my message. Have an absolutely amazing day.